The moment I stepped into Sarah's sprawling suburban mansion, I had a sinking feeling I already knew what awaited me. The scent of fresh flowers mixed with the faint tang of designer perfume filled the air. Glittering balloons bounced gently with every step as I walked into the kitchen, and the smell of chocolate cake lingered, heavy and almost suffocating. Before I could even greet anyone, her sharp, cold voice cut through the festive air like a knife. "Get out! You don't deserve to be here!" Her perfectly manicured finger jutted toward the door, a symbol of her power and superiority. My son Oliver's 5th birthday party had barely begun, and my mother-in-law Sarah had already declared war. "My grandson deserves a real mother, not a failure like you." Her words dripped with disdain, echoing in the pristine, over-decorated kitchen. Around me, the other preschool mothers shifted awkwardly, their faces frozen in polite discomfort, trying desperately to shield their children from the verbal carnage. I am Emma Mitchell, 32 years old, and I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I would be publicly expelled from my own son's birthday party. Yet there I stood, caught in the whirlwind of my mother-in-law's relentless campaign to prove that I was unworthy of her. Perfect family. You think being a part-time photographer qualifies you to raise a child in a Mitchell household? She continued, her tone steeped in venom. Look at this party. Do you really think you could ever provide any of this for Oliver on your own? I looked around. There were dinosaurs everywhere. Balloons, banners, a massive custom cake shaped like a T-Rex, and stacks of carefully wrapped presents from the city's most expensive toy stores. She was right about one thing. I couldn't have afforded this extravagance. But none of this is what Oliver had actually asked for. "Mommy?" Oliver's small voice rang out, slicing through the tension. He stood in the doorway, confusion painted across his face, wearing his favorite tie-dyed dinosaur t-shirt from last weekend, now smudged with a bit of frosting. "Why is Grandma yelling?" Before I could respond, Sarah swooped in, scooping him into her arms with the practiced precision of someone who believed she could rewrite reality with a hug. "Don't worry, sweetheart," she cooed, her tone sickly sweet. "Grandma's just helping Mommy understand that sometimes it's better to let people who really love you handle things." I felt the faint pressure of David's hand on my shoulder. But it was weak, hesitant, just like always. He stood there, unwilling to challenge his mother, a silent bystander to the drama she relished. "Maybe you should go, Emma," he whispered, his voice thin. "You're upsetting everyone." I glanced around one last time. The uncomfortable parents, my mother-in-law's smug smile, and Oliver's innocent confusion. Then a surprising calm settled over me. "You're right," I said, my voice steady. "I should go. Oliver, honey, Mommy has to leave for a little while, but I promise this isn't the end of your birthday celebration." Sarah's smirk widened, gleaming with the satisfaction of a temporary victory. "Always making promises you can't keep," she said. "That's your problem, Emma. You never know when to admit defeat." I walked to the door, pausing just long enough to blow Oliver a kiss. "I love you, buddy. See you soon." As I drove away, my hands began to shake, not with fear or sadness, but with anticipation. What Sarah didn't know was that I had been preparing for this moment for months. Ever since Oliver first mentioned wanting a dinosaur-themed birthday, I had been quietly orchestrating a surprise, one she could never appreciate. Not flashy, not expensive, but meaningful, something that would truly matter to Oliver. I pulled into my driveway, rushing to my home office, where the results of 6 months of secret labor awaited me. Spread across my desk were dozens of photographs I had taken of Oliver at the Natural History Museum, where I had been volunteering as their event photographer. He had been capturing moments with real paleontologists, helping clean actual dinosaur bones, exploring behind-the-scenes areas most children never got to see. Next to the photos lay an official-looking envelope from the museum's education department. Running my fingers over the embossed letterhead, I opened it to reveal the culmination of months of planning. Approval for the first-ever kid-curated dinosaur exhibit, featuring Oliver's photographs and stories. My phone buzzed repeatedly with messages from other mothers who had witnessed Sarah's outburst. "Are you okay?" "That was horrible." She had no right. I replied the same way to each. "Thank you for your concern. If you'd like to see Oliver's real birthday celebration, bring the kids to the Natural History Museum tomorrow at 10 a.m. Trust me, it'll be worth it." Sarah thought she had won, that she had successfully proven I wasn't good enough. She had no idea that while she had been orchestrating an extravagant display, I had been building something far more meaningful, a celebration that would teach everyone, especially Oliver, what truly mattered. The next morning, I arrived at the museum 2 hours early. The halls were quiet, our footsteps echoing as Dr. Anderson, the head paleontologist, helped me make the final adjustments to the exhibit. Oliver's photographs lined the walls, not just snapshots, but carefully composed images documenting his journey over 6 months. "These are remarkable." "Emma," Dr. Anderson said, adjusting the lighting on a photo of Oliver cleaning a raptor claw. "I still can't believe a 5-year-old took these." "He has a good eye," I replied, straightening a caption Oliver had dictated to me. "And an even better heart." My phone buzzed constantly, texts from David, alternating between anger and confusion. "Mom's furious about your museum invitation." "What are you trying to prove?" "Oliver's already had his party." I ignored them. They would understand soon enough. By 9:45, families began arriving. I watched from the second floor as parents and children filtered into the lobby, invitations in hand, excitement shining on their faces. Then, at 9:55, I saw Sarah's Mercedes pull into the lot. She emerged, gripping Oliver's hand tightly, David trailing behind, her face a mask of grim determination. She likely expected a pitiful attempt at a real birthday. "Ready?" Dr. Anderson asked. I nodded. "Let's give Oliver his real birthday surprise." At exactly 10:00 a.m., Dr. Anderson stepped to the podium. The crowd hushed as he spoke. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special event. Today, we make museum history with our youngest ever guest curator. Over the past 6 months, this remarkable young man has worked alongside our paleontology team, documenting his experience through photography and storytelling." Sarah's face twisted in confusion. Oliver's eyes lit up. "Please join me in welcoming our guest of honor." "Oliver Mitchell!" Spotlight on him, he squeaked in surprise. I descended the stairs, holding out my hand. "Come on, buddy. Want to show everyone what you've been doing with Mommy?" He wriggled free from Sarah's grip and ran to me, his face glowing with excitement. Together, we walked to the front. I explained how he had spent Saturdays learning from real paleontologists and capturing every moment through his own photography. At the entrance, a huge photo of him in a junior paleontologist vest beamed down at the guests. "Oliver," Dr. Anderson said, handing him scissors, "would you do the honors of cutting the ribbon to open your very first museum exhibit?" He snipped eagerly, flashbulbs popping, the crowd erupting into applause as they flooded into the exhibition space. The walls told Oliver's story. Photos of him cleaning fossils, cataloging specimens, and creating educational materials for other children. His words accompanied each photo, sharing what he learned and how it made him feel. "Did you really take all these pictures?" one of his classmates asked. Oliver nodded proudly. "Mommy taught me how to use her camera properly. Look." He ran to a display of real dinosaur bones he had helped clean. Parents and children moved through the space, marveling at his work. The other mothers who had witnessed Sarah's outburst the day before came to hug me, their earlier discomfort replaced by admiration and support. Sarah stood frozen in the middle, her perfectly composed facade crumbling as she watched Oliver explain fossil preparation techniques like a seasoned paleontologist. David moved closer, studying the photos with an intensity I hadn't seen in years. "Mrs. Mitchell," a newspaper reporter asked, notebook in hand, "what inspired this unique project?" Before I could answer, Oliver chimed in. "My mom's the best photographer ever. She taught me pictures tell stories, and I wanted to tell everyone about my dinosaurs." The reporter smiled, jotting down every word. "And how long have you been planning this exhibition?" 6 months, I replied, watching as realization dawned on Sarah's face. All those Saturdays she'd smugly assumed I was working at meaningless photography jobs. I'd been here with Oliver building something. Priceless. Some things. Are worth taking time to do right. Dranderson stepped forward again, raising his voice to address the crowd, and we have one more surprise. Oliver's exhibition has been so successful in its soft opening that the museum board has voted to extend it for 3 months as part of our regular exhibition schedule. Oliver will be our youngest ever contributing artist. The crowd erupted in applause again. Oliver bounced. With excitement huging my legs tightly. "Did you "Hear that, Grandma," he called out to Sarah. "My pictures are going to be in the museum forever." I watched as Sarah's carefully constructed narrative about me, the failure, the unworthy mother, crumbled in front of everyone. But this wasn't about revenge. This was about showing Myson that love isn't measured in expensive parties or wrapped presents. It's measured in time, in patience, in nurturing what makes someone special. As Oliver led his friends on a personal tour of his exhibition, David finally approached me. "Emma." He started, but I held up my hand. "Not now," I said quietly. "Today is about Oliver." He nodded, understanding that we had a lot to discuss later. For now, I watched my sunshine, knowing that this birthday would be remembered not for Sarah's extravagant party, but for the moment. Oliver realized just how capable he was, and that was worth more than all the elaborate parties in the world. 2 weeks. After the museum exhibition opened, I sat in my home office, editing photos from my latest wedding shoot. The exhibition had changed everything, not just for Oliver but for my photography business too. The newspaper coverage had led to several calls from other museums interested in my work with children and education. My phone buzzed, Sarah's name flashing on the screen since the exhibition opening. She had left without a word, and I hadn't heard from her since I considered letting it go to voicemail, but decided it was time to face whatever came next. "Hello, Sarah," I answered, keeping my voice neutral. "Emma." Her voice sounded different, lacking its usual sharp edge. I visited Oliver's exhibition again yesterday. This surprised me. Oh, I watched a little boy, about Oliver's age, standing in front of his photos for almost an hour. She continued. He kept telling his mother he wanted to be just like Oliver, a real scientist, he said. I waited, sensing there was more. "I've been wrong," she admitted, finally, the word seeming to cost her considerable effort. "About you, about what makes a good mother." I saw how proud Oliver was, not just of the photos, but of everything. He learned no amount of expensive parties could have given him back. No, I agreed quietly. They couldn't. David showed me all the Saturday photos on his phone. She went on the ones he took of you and Olive, her working together at the museum. I never saw that side of your relationship. I thought about those Saturdays. The quiet moments teaching Oliver about composition. Watching his face light up. When he got the perfect shot, seeing him grow more confident with each new skill. He mastered being a Mitchell. I said, "Carefully isn't about money or status, Sarah. It's about building something meaningful." That's what I've been trying to show Oliver all along. There was a long pause. The museum called me. She said finally, they want to start a regular program for children inspired by Oliver's project. They asked if I would consider funding it as Oliver's grandmother. Now it was my turn to be surprised, and I said yes, it felt right. "But Emma, I'd like you to be involved too as the program's photographer and instructor. If you're willing." I heard the olive branch. For what it was, not just a job offer, but an acknowledgement of my worth as both a professional and a mother. David had been making his own amends. He'd started coming to the museum on Saturdays, not to interfere, but to learn about this world. Oliver and I had created together last weekend. He'd even picked up a camera himself. "I need to think about it," I told Sarah. "Honestly, a lot has happened, I understand," she replied. And for once, I believe she did. "Just thank you for showing me what I almost destroyed after we hung up." I walked to Oliver's room. He was on the floor, carefully arranging his dining figures in a scene he wanted to photograph his junior paleontologist. Vest hung proudly on his wall next to a framed copy of the newspaper article about his exhibition. "Hey, buddy," I said, sitting down beside him. "What are you creating a story, Mommy, like we do at the museum? See, this T-Rex is teaching the baby dinos how to be brave and strong, even when the big scary dinosaurs don't believe in them." He smiled, recognizing the parallel he had drawn. "That sounds like a very important story. Oliver want me to help you photograph it." He beamed up at me. "Yes, and can we show Grandma, when it's done? She visited my exhibition again, did you? No, she said. She's learning to see things differently. Now, yeah. I said, helping him adjust the lighting. Just the way I taught him. Think she is in the end. This wasn't about proving Sarah wrong, or standing up to her attempts to push me away. It was about showing Oliver that true worth isn't measured in grand gestures or expensive gifts, but in the patient, quiet moments where we build something meaningful together. As I watched him carefully compose his shot, his little face serious with concentration, I knew that he understood every photo he took, every story he told, was a testament to the kind of love that money couldn't buy, the kind that took time, patience and faith to build Sarah's program. Finding offer sat in the back of my mind, not ace a piece, offering to be accepted or rejected, but as a sign that change was possible, real change, the kind that started with admitting you were wrong and doing better. Oliver looked up from his camera, his face glowing with pride. Look, Mommy. I got it just right. And he'd not just the photo, but the lesson behind it all, that sometimes the biggest victories come not from grand gestures, but from the quiet certainty of knowing exactly who you are and what you're worth, that was worth more than any birthday party in the world.